welcome to another episode of Beyond Loss, Loving Life with Karen Chaston. Let me get myself in the right position. Welcome, everybody. So great to see you here. Please comment where you're from, what's happening in your world. So today is Monday the 30th of August, last Monday in August, and it's so great to be here as always. So let me know where you're from. Let me know what's happening. I am actually going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about a whole lot of different sort of stuff. We're not obviously going to get into the political arena or everything what's going on in not only in Australia but all over the world. But welcome. Please comment. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what's happening in your world. As always, I am really excited to be here. And for the people who don't know who I am Karen Chaston, and I am a Beyond Loss mentor, speaker and author. I love to deep dive into loss and help anyone who has suffered from any kind of loss to actually not only move beyond the pain and the suffering, but also to actually assist them to be able to create their better everyday life. I'm a great believer that all of our loss events are actually there as little milestones to help us to actually stop and not only look at what has happened, but to also look at where we are in our life, in all areas of our life. And in the Chaston Centre model, there are over 9 areas of life. And I purposely did 9. And the reason I did 9 in my Chaston Centre Wellness Wheel is because 9 is all about rebirthing. 9 is all about, coming into your own and then creating your better everyday life. So, hello, Karen. You're here from Skegness. I don't even know where Skegness is. Great to see you, Kim. Fabulous. Let me know where Skegness is. I'm not 100% sure, but great to have you here. So before I get started, let's actually have a little bit of a look at this. So for all of the people who haven't been here before, I love to say, it's in Adelaide. Hi, Alison from Adelaide. Great to see you here. So life is a journey. It takes you from love to loss and then all the way back to love again. But so often we get stuck in the loss that we don't know how to get back to love. And that's what I found that I had done with some of my major losses events in my life. And then I decided to actually deep dive into loss. And that's how I became a Beyond Loss mentor, because I knew there had to be a better way, and there is a better way. And that's what I love to spread. So, as I said, over 40 different loss events. Have a look at these and you can clearly see that you've probably had multiple throughout your life. And have you actually just buried them down, or have you actually been able to learn the lesson, find the gift in what has happened, and so that you can then move forward and live your life in a major way. Hi, PJ, from the Gold Coast. That's where I am, for you who don't seem to know where I am. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at ways that actually make love and loss even. It doesn't matter whether you're in love or loss. You can still move forward with your life because you have awareness about it. But so now we're going to deep dive into some treasures, and today I want to talk to you about little this. Now, for those of you who don't know, that is my son Dan in the corner. He passed away 10 years ago now. He was 27. But more importantly, he is the co-founder of the Chaston Centre. Through his guidance, through his, connection from beyond, that I really am here doing what I do now. So this is a little thing that I actually put out a few years ago, and it popped up today in my memory, and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to share this. That photo in the background is a recent photo though, which was taken in Sydney. I think it was taken by my daughter I can't remember. It's in our pile, but we've put all our photos together. But I do feel that it was taken by her one morning, nice and early, just off Manly Beach, which was amazing. And I was down there for 6 weeks, went for 5 days and stayed 6 weeks, but I'm back on the Goldie now. So let's have a look at this believe in yourself, because I love the perspective of this. I love the awareness that it brings to you. And I do feel that, especially at the times that we're living in at the moment, you know, fear seems to be what is running rampant. And, you know, whether you are in fear or love, you can't be in both. And it's really good that if you realize that you are in fear over anything, how do you get yourself back into love? And that's the questions that you really are most ideal for you to start asking yourself. If you have any fear with what's going on in the moment, and let's face it, you know, the media are just spreading it. They really are, you know, I don't listen to news as such, but obviously, you know, it will filter into my world. But I don't intentionally sit down to watch the news for an hour, half hour, whatever. But what I really, really want to talk to you about is for you to deep dive into what this is all about, because it is about you believing in yourself. So let's read what Dan has to say here, because I love it. So it is clearly, from my heavenly vantage point, I can see and understand things so much more clearly now, okay? I can see now that you and I never really had anything to be afraid of. The only thing standing in our way was the fear of the unknown future. That is all that is standing in the way at the moment. You know, there are so many rumors about, you know, this or that or whatever, and it's put people into fear because they want their life back. So this is why I am spreading the love today, okay? So that now I know that you and I create our own future. And this is what we do, is we create our future through what we believe, through what we receive, through what we see, and the way we perceive things is truly about the way that we create our own future. So I urge you, go forward with dreams, leave nothing to chance. I believe in you because I love you. But also I can see that nothing is stopping you. Unless you believe it is, I will be with you every step of the way. Nothing is stopping you unless you believe it is. You know what? We all have these amazing guides on the other side. We all have these people who are here to help us. Let me just go back to where I was. Sorry, I don't know what goes on with my mouse sometimes. It just really does have a mind of its own. But what I'm going to do is I want to get back into here, and I'm now back here. So let's go over here. So that's what I want to talk to you about. So are you in fear? Are you living and loving your life? And what's getting in the way of you actually being able to move forward, to actually create a life that you live and love each and every day? Now, I just showed you how many different loss events there are in your life, and we're all going to have multiple major losses throughout our lives. So it's really important for us all to understand that we are all going to have loss, right? But we don't really know how to move beyond loss, which is really quite ridiculous when you think about it, because we're all taught, you know, how we're all educated and we're all taught, you know, how to do this and that. Sure, there's a lot of things at school that is really missing. But one of the things that I really find really interesting is the fact that we don't know how to move beyond loss, especially when there are so many. We get stuck. We are uncomfortable talking about it. We're uncomfortable asking people for help. We're uncomfortable admitting, I don't know what to do. I am stuck. I seriously do not know what to do. And I really am not sure what is my best way forward. You know, what is the best way for me to be able to figure out what to do now so that I can move beyond what is happening. And I'd really like you to sort of, let me know what you think. I'm sure that if you're here listening to me, you have more than likely have some loss that has happened in your life that you're looking for a way to move beyond. So while I let you type, I'll just have a quick sip because I've been talking nonstop for like 10 minutes now. Right. Okay, so I'm not getting much feedback today. That's okay. I will just keep talking and hopefully I'll get some more comments because obviously I love that. But while I'm waiting for some comments, as you know, if you've seen me regularly, I love to pick a card from the Channel Spiritual Guidance card. Now, I am not a medium. I do not give readings as such, but I always like to pick my card, and I really love to be able to obviously share it with everyone. So the card that I picked today is card number 23, Mars. Okay, now how beautiful. Let me put that up really close so you can see it. So that is Mars, and we all wear so many different masks. We wear so many different hats in a day. So let's have a look and see what the mask has to say. Our masks shield and protect us in the shallows of life. We need to protect ourselves, and we create masks to shield us from allowing others to see what lies inside. They place distance and barriers around us, protecting us from others coming too close or seeing too deeply into our world and invading our personal space. They also provide us with the opportunity to be another person. When we are acting in another role, certain masks will act as a protective guard. Masks also disguise others who are often hiding behind one and not revealing their true intent. You are being warned to prepare for this. Others may try to fool you and not be sincere. You may need to mask your own feelings and not show weakness to protect yourself from others around you and to put up your shields. Now, what do you think about that card? Like, this is a card for everyone. It's a card for you, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching it, as a repeat, the recording. But it's really important. So, Alison, thank you. With multiple members on the list. Okay, Alison. Thanks, Alison, for actually saying that. And also, how appropriate is that card? I've become very inshallah in recent weeks. Okay. So why is that, Alison? Is it because you feel that people are not being true to you? They're not telling you what's going on? Well, I'm not going to get into that. But do you feel that people are wearing masks and are actually, do you feel you need to wear a mask and not tell people, well, let's face it, isn't it funny? I've only just thought about it. Well, we're all being told to wear masks when we go outside. But this is more than the physical masks that we're being told to wear. How funny that I didn't even connect that up until now. Anyway, but the funny thing is we do all wear masks. We all will, protect ourselves, whether it's I'm talking more of an emotional protection than I am of the other, because we are uncomfortable feeling vulnerable. I totally agree, Joanne. It's difficult to let others in because we're uncomfortable feeling vulnerable. It is uncomfortable feeling vulnerable. But what I've found that the more that you actually do let people in, and of course you have to have discernment. It's not going to be everyone that you let in. It's going to be people that you feel that you can trust with your confidences. But what I've found that the more vulnerable that I become in different relationships, not only do the closer that we get, but we sort of seem to go to a next level. And we really do actually start to create a more loving relationship. And, all you got to do is look at anything that Brené Brown sort of talks about. And she talks about the power in vulnerability. And how our leaders, it'd be really great if, whether it's a leader of a company or either of a, nation or whatever it is, the more vulnerable that they are, the more that people will start to trust them because they'll appear to be more human. And so often we actually hide exactly, what is going on, because we think we're going to appear weak, but there is so much strength in our vulnerability. And I'm not saying it's easy. For those who have been watching me for a while, you'll know that the reason I was in Sydney in end of June to the 8th of August was that I went down to spend time with my daughter. And my daughter, I adopted out when I was 16. She's been in my life for the past 20 years, and it's been a very up and down relationship. But we decided through different circumstances that earlier this year, we started to get really vulnerable with each other. We started to have open and honest conversations, realizing that if we're ever going to get to know each other, now's the time for us to really, say, this is what I'm feeling and this is it. And the funny thing about it is, through us actually having those really deep and meaningful conversations, we actually came to a realization that the reason why the last 20 years was so hard was because we weren't really hearing what the other was saying. We were interpreting it through our beliefs, through our hurt, I guess, and through our wanting to be right and to actually, really have those conversations. And the beautiful thing was like, no, that's not what I said. That may be what you heard, but this is what I said. And then the other would go, oh, wow, yeah, that makes sense. It was like, saying this is hard, whereas we never really had that conversation to say that this is where we're staying. So I hope that makes sense. But it is in the vulnerability. I have to say we both had to get vulnerable. And in that vulnerability, there is that little risk of they may reject you. But you know what? It doesn't seem to work out that way. They actually come closer to you because you actually realize that we're all so similar. Sure, we look different and our lives have been different. We've had different circumstances. But at the end of the day, we all are very, very similar on the inside. And we're all protecting that, guarding it, so to speak, so that, we don't let people in because we don't want them to see how human we are. But let's face it, we are all so human. Okay, going to read some notes. Thanks for that, Joanne, because that was really great. Connie, it's really hard when you take your mask off and people backstab you and take advantage of you being you. Totally agree, Connie, but then you know what? Isn't it great that they showed you who they were? Because then you can turn around and you can actually go, well, thank you for showing me who you are, because now I don't need to spend any more time with you because you're not the person who I thought you were, and also you're not the person I want to hang around with. So important. I always love the saying that the person you are, just look at the 5 people that you spend your most amount of time with, and then you can actually go, do I want to be that person? No, you don't. Not if they're stabbing you in the back, if they're just protecting themselves and realizing that. And it is really important. If you've seen a few shows of mine a while ago, I was talking about Don Miguel Ruiz's 5 agreements, and one of them is be impeccable with your word, not only to other people but to yourself. So if you've got to stab someone in the back, well, you're not being impeccable with your word, but you're not even very trustworthy either, are you? So you can always be thankful, Connie, that person actually did you a really huge favor so that you can say bye. Okay, Alison, people are not listening, got super judgy, and when you think you can trust, you get vilified. Sometimes it's just easier to shut it all down. Totally agree. It does appear to be that way, Alison, but you know what the funny thing it is? Because people are in fear, which comes back to what I was saying earlier about, Dan, like Dan's beautiful little saying is people are seriously in fear because they don't know what's happening. And, it's really, really sad what is happening in Australia at the moment. We used to be a Commonwealth of Australia. We didn't have borders. Sure, we physically thought we had borders, but let's face it, those borders they're not physical lines across the sand. They are just, for taxation purposes and for different reasons. But at the end of the day, We are the Commonwealth of Australia, and it's time for us to get back to the fact that we are one nation, and we really are, at a stage where we need to sort of start to take back ourselves, to get out of the fear, to get back into, well, do you know what? This is our life, and I really want to live my life the way that I want to. I want to have my freedom. I want to have my choice. Because when people are really starting to, not trust you and to actually bring you down so that they feel better than themselves, who wants to live in that world? I don't. Trust is a really big thing. 100%, that's exactly what I got from it. Great, Connie. I'm so glad that that's exactly what you got for it. So I always have gratitude. I've found that, there are so many things in life that you can go down and not be happy about. But once you start to find the gift in anything and a different perspective, that's when you will really start to go, oh, wow, thank you for that. That's so cool. Exactly. Inclusiveness and coming together is what I should be. This divide approach is wrong on every level. It is. It so is. And the more that we actually start to realize that we live in the most amazing place in all of the world. And, and we've just taken it. A lot of the times, I guess we just take it for granted. We forget how beautiful our beautiful country is. And, especially if you live obviously close to the east or, around Australia, but even inside, in the middle of Australia, it's so beautiful. I don't know. I've had the privilege to go to Uluru a few years ago, I think back in 2016, and it was the most amazing place. Sure. There were a lot of flies, but apparently not as many as if I'd gone there 3 months later in the year, because we went in September. So around this time. So anyway, this is great. So I also picked another card because I just was drawn to pick another. There really are. So crystal ball, because I feel, and I did not pick this intentionally, I just was guided to pick a second card, where I don't normally do that, but today I was really, really guided to pick this crystal ball card. Not this card, but a second card, which just so happens to be crystal ball. And I feel at the moment, we probably all do need a bit of a crystal ball, because we're sort of, where are we going? What's happening? So let's have a look and see what this card has to say. Number 35, which I love, adds to 8, right? And we all know 8 is about abundance. 8 is about us living in prosperity, and we have so much abundance around us. And may not be the financial abundance, but we have so many other things to be grateful for. And when you look back over the past 10 years, being a minimalist seems to have been coming more into sort of our realm, our consciousness, which when you think about it, it's so much easier when you are a bit of a minimalist, because, who needs 50 pairs of shoes? Who needs 5 cars? You can only drive one at a time. Who needs 5 houses? You can only live in one at a time. And it's really important for us to actually start to realize that maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe it's us realizing, the value of family, the value of time together is so much more important than gifts. And, being of service to others and spreading the good and spreading the love, maybe that's what this is all about. When you start to look at the positive of what has come out of our more or less our nearly 2-year journey that we've all been on, certainly 18 months, we start to sort of go, wow, there has been a lot of good that's come out. I, for one, am spending a lot more time, not only with myself, but also with my family and my friends, and valuing the time and actually having really fantastic, delicious conversations. And it's, as well as delicious food while we are together. So it's always really good to start to look at that. But let's read the crystal ball. You are touched by the vibrant power of the crystal orb. Whoa. The power of the crystal ball has opened up into your life today. This puts you in touch with the world of the crystals and the ability to utilize this orb to view the path clearly. This powerful gift is awakened within your life today to touch the birth of Mother Earth through the divine liquid light of crystals. Crystals are as old as the earth. They record and contain the mysteries of life. The sages have touched you with this orb so you may see your way forward. Use this ability to see clearly throughout your life. Gaze into the gentle vibration of the orb and feel the powerful gift within its being. It's a magical energy from the earth, bringing its ageless wisdom to help all sentient beings flourish. Now, how beautiful is that? Isn't it a beautiful crystal ball? Because it really is connected to the earth. So that's it. Delicious. Declutter frees you. It certainly does. Thank you, Connie. Okay, so that's my 2 cards for today. And it's a lot of my wisdom that I really wanted to share today was about getting out of fear and into love. And it's an inside job. It really is an inside job of when you feel yourself going into fear. There are so many amazing exercises that you can do. So what I've found is you've got to feel into your body. You've got to feel into where the fear is. Now, I'm going to tell you this little exercise, which I find is an awareness that really does help you. So most of you know that I'm obviously a speaker, and just before you go on stage, a lot of people are like, are you nervous? Are you nervous? How do you feel? You know, how do you sort of take away your fear so that you can actually go out on stage and rock, so to speak? So I want you to be aware today of what does it feel like when you're in, fear or when you're nervous. So, just think about it. You sort of, in your tummy, you sort of get a bit of a crunch, a bit of a bit of anxiousness. You feel, you get a bit of butterflies flying around. You don't want to eat. You feel like, oh, I'm not really sure what's happening, sort of thing. So we all know what that feels like. We've all done something that we've been a little bit nervous about, a little bit fearful about, not really sure what's going to happen, especially if it's something really important that you think, oh my God, if this happens, I'm really going to, it's going to make or break me. It's going to be so exciting. It could be this, or whatever. So you've got that feeling, right? So you know what it feels like. And then let's have a look at a feeling of excitement. Like, when you're so excited about something that's about to happen, where you're just sort of, you can't sleep, you can't eat, you're just so excited, you're just sort of waiting for this event to happen because you just feel, oh my God, this is going to be so good for me. I'm so excited. I can hardly wait for it. How does your body react? What sort of feelings do you get in your body? So, you get butterflies in your tummy and you get all these little flutters and you're really sort of like, oh my God, it's so exciting. Now, anxiousness and fear and excitement give you the same, very similar body reactions, sort of in your solar plexus, around your belly button, and you just sort of feel like, so anxiousness, fear, excitement have the similar body reaction. When you deep dive into it, you sort of get the same sort of flutters and whatnot. So why is it that we see one as good and one as bad when you actually have a very, very similar reaction in your gut about either of them? It's a good question, isn't it? Because it does really come down to the way that you view things, the way that you see things. So if you start to actually change the way you look at things, as Wayne Dyer, says, the things you look at change. So if you start to look at maybe all these different changes in the world as being exciting, because from chaos, we always birth something new. And the world is in a little bit of chaos at the moment. But when we start to see it as well, maybe this chaos is about what happens before we birth a better way of moving through life, a better way of doing things, a better way for us to have excitement about what's happening. And when you start to see things that way, you don't go into fear. You go into, wow, let's just sit back and actually watch all this unfold. Let's look at all the different little breadcrumbs that are leading us to where? Where are they leading us to? For some reason, I can't even remember what it was. I think it was Hansel and Gretel. It was a Hansel and Gretel that ended up in the witch's stove, or meant to end up in the witch's stove. But anyway, for some reason, because they followed the breadcrumbs and whatnot. But when we follow the breadcrumbs, it doesn't mean we're going to end up in danger. It's just going to mean that we end up somewhere else, because we've literally moved along. And that's the thing, is at the moment, the fear is all bad, doom and gloom, all this sort of stuff. And as we've said earlier, pitting each other against, pitting one against the other, and then bringing the person down who disagrees with the way you look at things. But don't you think that maybe now we're at a stage where we're actually all starting to go, wow, maybe this is going to be a good thing. We've all heard for so long that, we're moving into the fifth dimension. We're coming more into our feminine, to the age of Aquarius, where, love and harmony will be more as opposed to fear and control. And I don't know about you, but I certainly want to live in a world of love and harmony as compared to fear and control. But obviously, before we can actually tip the scale, fear and control are going to take over for a little bit longer, and then love and harmony will come to the forefront. And that's the way that we will hopefully be able to live, in the future. Because at the moment, everyone's pushing control. We've got to do this. But what I believe, and it is only my belief, I know that whatever happens is always going to be okay, because that's what life's about. We're always going to be to the betterment of all of humanity, not just one or two, but for everyone. And that's where I'm at today, is because I know that no matter what loss comes into your life, no matter what hardship comes into your life, it is like a line in the sand preparing you so that you can create that life that you can live and love each and every day. So that's where I'm at, right? Obviously, this is my belief. This is what I truly believe about any event in your life that you perceive as negative, a loss event. You will always, if you choose to take the steps to look at things differently, to stop. That's the first step, is always to stop. To stop and start to deep dive into you and to find your answers, because that's where your answers always are, within you. Not in a newspaper, not from someone else's opinion who is forcing you to believe whatever they want you to believe and are really hammering their point of view home to you. So I guess that's what it's about, is for you to actually start to know that you are the master you are seeking. And if you have any fear in your life at the moment and you're looking for a way to get into love, right? First of all, start to deep dive into where you are feeling it in your body, right? Because your body is your guide and your emotions are your friends. And the more that you deep dive into your emotions, and, there's so many things you can do, grab a journal book and start to say, like, where am I feeling this? Start writing it down. Write these words and then answer it. Where am I feeling this in the body? What does it feel like? What else is similar? What's the opposite of this that feels the same? And there will be, because we've decided to label it good or bad, right? And there are so many things that are similar, but until, and which you would never ever put together, it was just that you go, no, that's good, that's bad, we don't want that. But your body will actually guide you to what I'm saying, and you'll go, oh my God, this is so true. This feels so similar, but I'm in fear at the moment. I'm not in love. And that's where you can start to then really deep dive into who you are and start to ask questions like, is my fear warranted? When was the last time that I feared something and it came true? And then write it down. But even write down how many things you've feared over the last month or 6 months or year, and just say, did they come true? And in what way did they come true? Did they come 100% true to the way you were fearing it? And then look at the amount of energy that you put into that fear. Like, what did it stop you from doing? What did it, how did it hold you back? Or how did it assist you to move forward? Some people thrive on it. That's where they get their energy on to actually go to the next level. But just start to recognize what it's actually doing to you, what it's doing to your body, what it's doing to you mentally, emotionally, physically, even spiritually. Because the more you deep dive into you and find your answers, the more that you'll actually find the answers for you to be able to move forward and create your better everyday life. Because there is so many ways that you can do that, which is so great. And there is no right way and there's no wrong way. There's just your way. We live in a world of infinite possibilities. And the more that we realize that, the more that we can actually all come together and go, I'm really curious as to why you have chosen to do it that way. I'm not here to give you my opinion. I'm not here to force you to have my opinion. I'm just here to understand. What is it about that you are so hell-bent on actually, saying to everyone, this is the way to go forward? And then when you start to understand, then you may tweak the way you're doing things, or you may decide, no, that doesn't work for me. And it doesn't matter one way or the other. All that matters is that you have sought to understand, seek to understand. And it's not brainwashing. It's just, I'm here to understand why. Why is that right for you? Whereas for me at the moment, it's not right for me. But then maybe there's something I don't understand. Maybe there's something I'm missing. And then from there, you can then choose from an informed position, from an intelligence, And intelligence, I talk about a lack of loss intelligence. And, what is an intelligence? An intelligence is a learning and understanding of different skills or things that we can apply once we learn them. And then obviously we then, through, action, that we then understand and we can move forward. So having a better intelligence around the way that you actually process fear, how it is in your body, how you can move beyond it, how you deep dive in it to see actually how often do my fears actually come true. And I think that you'll find I'm pretty sure that you'll find that not very often do the things that you fear actually come true. Sure, if there's a boogeyman in your house, maybe that may come true right at the moment when you can hear something funny going on. But then how often do you hear things in the middle of the night thinking, oh, someone's in my house, and it's a dog or it's a cat or it's a tree that's fallen down or something completely not what you feared, okay? And I know that's a very easy example for us to actually look at. So that's it. That's what I really wanted to share with you today, is for you to realize, and it came back to what that little saying that I had up earlier from Dan. Let me just try and get that back up without, obviously, my thing just goes, oops, sorry, I just brought that up. Okay, I brought it up, so I'm going to say it. Yes, it's challenging to retain freedom of choice, harmony, and peace together. We will get there, even though it can be exhausting. Opportunities and abound again, and opportunities will abound again. And it's so true. I didn't mean to put that up, Alison, but obviously it came up, and I'm a great believer that everything happens for a reason. So yeah. Adrenaline rush plus what makes it feel positive. Yeah, totally agree. Is true. Unfortunately, I have been experiencing the same thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try and bring this back up because my thing has gone berserk. Let me go back. No, it's not going to work. Okay. Let me do it this way, and then I will, from this slide. Yes, I've got it up that way. Oh, it's hard when you've got to drive all these things, isn't it? Okay, so this is what I really want to share with you again one more time. So believe in yourself. This is what Dan is saying, and I just love it. I love the fact that once we believe in ourselves and we can actually see that when we're out of the density, and let's face it, the world is very, very dense, and at the moment it seems to be a lot denser than it is lighter. And it is about having the tools so that you can make your world a lot lighter. How do I make my world lighter? I don't listen to the news. I still get news. I get people telling me things. I know what's going on, but do I need to sit there for an hour, half an hour, an hour every day and listen to what's going on repeatedly, just so it grinds you down and grinds you down? No, I don't. That's one way for me of getting out of the density. I have my gratitude practice. Most of you know I've actually, created my own gratitude journals because I love to be in gratitude. And there's so many different ways that you can actually stop the density and get yourself out of fear, get yourself back into love, because you can't be in love and fear at the same time. And that's the beauty about it. And the more that you actually realize that it's not as bad, he clearly says it so much clearly now. I can see and understand things so much more clearly now. It's because he's above the density. He's in a place where is unconditional love, and he's looking down, and he's did his life review, which we all will do. Which brings me to my next thing to say is we're all going to do a life review. So do you feel that there's anything in your life that you may regret? Is there anything that, when you pass over and you go on to your next adventure, that you're thinking, oh my God, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I have the courage to actually go out and do whatever you were going to do? Why didn't I have the courage to fulfill my dreams, to really, get all my aspirations out of the way? Why was I so busy looking after everyone else and not looking after what I wanted? Not long after Dan passed, over 10 years ago, I had this greatest realization, which I was a little bit shocked that it took me so long. I was around 54, 55 when it came to me. And it is that you are the only person you are going to spend your entire life with. You're the only person that you spend 24/7 with each and every week of your whole entire life. No one else. There is no one else that you are with all the time. So when we come to that realization, it's really easy for us to go, wow, why am I putting myself last? Why am I giving up on me? It's really important for us all to understand that. So on that note, is there any more questions? Because I really, I love the fact that I help people to move beyond any kind of loss and create their better everyday future. Things can be challenging at the moment, but they don't have to be. It all comes back to the way that you view things, see things, your perspective, your way forward. And that's what I love to do is love to help people to shine a light on a different thing, a different way of looking at things, a different way forward. So that is it. Is there any other questions? I'm going to leave that with Dan. It's such a beautiful, not only what he says here, but also the fact that it's really great for us all to believe in ourselves, because you really are creating your way forward through the way that you believe, the way that you see things. And if you're feeling that life is really hard at the moment, it doesn't have to be. So is there any more questions before I go? Because that is it for this week. I have shared my wisdom for the week, and I look forward to seeing you all here next week. If there are any more questions, if not, thank you. And have a marvelous week. Please make it meaningful, memorable, and magical. It's up to you. Bye for now.